Well, a very, very good morning, everybody, and welcome to the daily briefing for the 7th of July. What day is it today? It's Tuesday, that was it. Fantastic. We're going to start a little bit differently today. I'm going to introduce these topics every so often, normally based off things that we consider need a little bit of thought. So sorry to teach people to suck eggs a little bit, but for the benefits of those who have returned to Lasham for training now, we just need to have a quick talk about, for a moment, about just a safety thought of the day, effectively. And today's one is, which launch are we taking? For quite a lot of you who are current on both methods, you've been taking aerotows for the last couple of months or so, and now we're back to winch launching. Nearly, I'd say all of the winch launches that we've done so far have been flown safely, but we are identifying a risk with the hook that we are connected to. And I strongly suggest that you are very vigilant at this time to look at the hook that is being used, whether you're potentially being hooked on the wrong one for an aerotow or for a winch launch. Especially winch launching, it could be catastrophic if you get it wrong. So please, if we can really make sure ground handlers, launch point controllers, pilots, we're all responsible, check we're on the correct hook. I don't want to be seeing any more gliders hooked on incorrectly. It is not a good look, and it is quite dangerous. Safe winch launching initiative is still around, and managing flying risk. For those of you that haven't flown for a while, the risks haven't gone away in what we do. If anything, this is quite a interesting period because we haven't flown for quite a long time for some of you. So please, if we could just make sure that we are thinking before we go flying, it will make my job a little bit easier. To the weather. Let's bring that up. No, that's the sounding. Apologies. Okay. Right, here we go. Fantastic. Okay, so what do we have for today? So we're sort of we're not really in low pressure, we're not really in high pressure. We have a warm front encroaching from the west as we start to get into some more frontal air for the week. And as that gets closer, that's going to be introducing some higher cover. We are probably in the best area of the UK today. Much north of us is already feeling the effects of the front and low clouds, and much further west is certainly not any better. So sort of slack west-southwesterly winds, sort of 10 knots or so for most of the day. At flying heights, a little bit stronger, somewhere in the region of about 15 to 20 knots, maybe by the end of the day at flying heights, but a lot lighter than we've certainly had over the last few days. But mostly down the runway, but maybe with a slight bit of southerly in. The public forecast today showing a little bit more southwesterly in the winds and increasing cloud as the day goes on. But as I said, not as strong as we've seen in the last few days, which is good. The satellite picture is showing that, and so we are in the best area. It's not going to last all day, but certainly at the moment we're in the great place, and this is going to start encroaching from us probably from about lunchtime onwards. So the conditions will be as good as they get probably just around the time you launch, and will then deteriorate as the day goes on. I'll have a look to see if there's any rain at the moment. Yeah, rain up further north, but we're not likely to see really any rain down here as such. Infrared showing quite a lot of top cover to the north and west of us, as you'd expect of a warm front. Top temperature today, well, the public forecast suggested about 18 degrees or so. We're probably looking at somewhere in the region of that, maybe. Might see 19 or 20 if we get a little bit more sunshine. And dew points sort of floating around double figures. The lower, the better. We'll have just a look at Sormet. David did put a bit of a forecast up on his bits, which is generally sort of saying the same about the encroaching of the warm front. Just sort of higher cover clouds, but a good conditions in the morning. Generally looking at 200-300k, and well, I said I'll look at that bit rather than that bit for most of you. And yeah, not so good going later into the week. I think unfortunately the models are starting to deteriorate for that. Farnborough is currently showing that we have so no cloud at the moment. So I think there's been a few cumulus starting to bubble up, and that we should see sort of a few clouds at 4,500 feet, which is not to be disappointed about. And at Top Meteo, we are looking today at quite a narrow task area, sort of down towards Compton, Abbas, Salisbury direction. The Southampton zone will get a little bit in the way, and maybe down a little bit towards Sussex again. Doesn't look like you can get much north of the M4 today. That this area does seem to have already been a lot of cloud. So short, sort of narrow task area. And starting at 11 o'clock round here, we should be able to launch you. According to this, it shows that we should have cloud base above sight of about 4,000 feet. Bit later in the day, looking maybe 4.5, might even see 5,000 above sea level in some places before it starts deteriorating from the west. I mean, by that time, oh, got a chat question. Jeremy, just you didn't finish your message there, just keep typing. I'll answer it at the end. Yeah, we're looking locally that we're going to keep the conditions for as long as possible, probably in the British Isles, and we can sort of see that that upper cloud is going to encroach as the day goes on. So, yeah, probably not a day to be out massively late, not quite like yesterday, which was actually quite nice when I came and landed at 7 o'clock. Site forecast generally showing, yeah, goods up till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon because of these times of UTC. And reasonable climbs up to 4,500 feet above sight, with the top cover coming in from lunchtime onwards. Soundings, the real sounding wasn't showing today, but 11 o'clock at Lark Hill, a little bit, some chance of some upper level cloud in the mid levels, but reasonable climbs to 4,000 feet out to the west. Let's actually bring that back a little bit. Hurstmonceux at 11 o'clock, looking fairly similar. Reasonable climbs to probably 3,500 feet. Fairford's at 3 o'clock. You can see the effects of that front coming in. So yeah, and play maybe even some drizzle. Okay, airspace. Solent active today between 12 and 8 tonight. You can always get a two-way with them, and you might be able to get clearance through, so give that a go. What we've got, we have some activity in the Salisbury area. Are they still parachuting at Old Sarum today? Let's see, Bulford's, Boscombe Down and Old Sarum all active today. So Bulford, Boscombe and Old Sarum active today for their danger areas, and Old Sarum, of course, being parachuting almost exclusively now. Parachuting at Weston on the green all day. And Chiltern Park active with gliding, not parachuting at the moment. Nothing else sort of locally. I'll just look at what Jeremy's question is, if it's airspace related. Yes, I think I've covered that, Jeremy. So yeah, Southampton active from 12 till 8. I said that. That's the great thing about these. You can, by clicking or the chat box or Alt-H on your keyboard, you can ask a question. Airfield operation, we're 27, grid on the north side, winch launching from the launch point. There'll be a Navajo in probably just before lunchtime, and we'll make sure that they watch out for you lot. Expecting a reasonably busy day, so go and enjoy. As I say, please think, if you are winching, about my safety point in the morning, check you're on the correct hook. But other than that, maintain the social distancing, and we will see you on the airfield. Bye for now.